Let's bring in special report and chief political anchor Bret Baier. Bret, as the president prepares to talk to governors this afternoon in the reopening, just today at noon, I think, Governor Cuomo says, actually, we're not going to be seeing this reopening or a release of the shutdown order until May 15th. And people are starting to push back in other places, and yet they seem to also be understanding that the officials are trying their best to figure this out.
Yeah, Dana, good afternoon. I think it's going to be a balancing act, and the president, despite starting out saying that when we say it's open, I think is more in the mindset of providing the guidelines, the blueprint for governors to follow as they see the evidence on the ground and what they're dealing with. I think that's what you're going to see from the White House, but very specific around the country, and that it be a rolling kind of operation where some places are obviously going to go before other places. The economic statistics are staggering. 22 million people filing for unemployment already. You have the SBA program running out of money, 1.6 million loans sent out, but they don't have any more money. So if you haven't had an application approved, there's not money there. And that's a really big moment here in Washington for the administration and Capitol Hill, obviously.
And speaking of that, then I wonder, is there an update on replenishing this fund?
I mean, there was an effort to have a unanimous consent that it could increase by $250 billion. That was shot down by the Democrats. Nancy Pelosi wrote most recently over the past 24 hours has said she heard information that the funds were running low, but she hadn't seen confirmation that it was. Well, the SBA put out a statement today saying that's it. The funds are out. And unless they replenish them, that's all.
Right, and they have to do it by unanimous consent because they're not there altogether. Also wanted to ask you about some reporting that you had last night to describe for us more of what you're hearing from the intelligence officials about the origins of this virus.
Yeah, when asked about this on the record publicly, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Milley, said that the intelligence is inconclusive, that the virus came from that lab in Wuhan, but that it does look like it's natural. You've heard that now from the Defense Secretary, Esper, and also from Secretary Pompeo.
Shall we play that sound, actually?
Sure, go ahead.
Bret, if you don't mind, I do have this sound from Secretary Esper, the Defense Secretary. Let's listen to that and have you react.
The results are inconclusive, if you will. A majority of the views right now is that it is natural, that it was organic. But I think we need to continue to work this. And once we get beyond the pandemic, we'll have a chance to look back and really find out what happened, and then to take the proper precautions to make sure that we prevent this in the future.
And what else are we hearing maybe from China in reaction to this?
Well, they're saying it was not created in a lab. But there's an important distinction here, that multiple sources saying that the body of evidence, the open source and classified, is leading them to connect dots. They're increasingly confident that it was a botched effort to study these viruses in that lab. Not that it was created as a bioweapon in the lab or it was not genetically altered. And there's evidence, scientific evidence, that the virus was not genetically altered. They say it was natural, is what you're hearing the words. But there are more and more dots here, and that's where the sourcing is coming from. In addition to that, we have confirmation that Wuhan lab was the focus of real concern by U.S. officials who sent back warnings through the Beijing embassy to the State Department, suggesting that it was not up to what it was billed as a level 4 bio facility. In fact, they said it was very sloppy, and there were real concerns about that a couple of years ago.
And look at the consequences. All right, Bret Baier, that's fascinating reporting on that, and we will be in touch with you, no doubt. Thank you.